Good morning YouTube and welcome to my channel. My name's Jo and this is Joey Sewy. Now today I am going to show you some of the fascinating adventures I've been having with my cover stitch machine. I got a cover stitch machine about a year and a half ago now, and it's just been sat there in the corner of my sewing room staring at me saying, "Are you going to use me anytime soon?" I had a little go when it arrived and I got overwhelmed, and then I got frozen, and now I'm back and I'm a bit braver and I've done a little bit of research, and so I've been trying to use it, and I wanted to share that journey with you because I know a cover stitch is something that quite a few people either greatly desire, don't know about, might want, or might have, because they're becoming increasingly common. So I'm going to do a series of videos as I learn about how to use my machine. I'm going to share it with you for your interest and delight. You can be delighted if you want to. So in this first video I have been making some Moji trousers, which you will have seen in my January What Have I Been Sewing vlog already, but I wanted to show you the process of doing some cover stitch detail on the pockets. So that is what I'm going to cut to now. So past me is going to tell you all about what I've been doing, and then future me, or now me, will come back at the end. I am currently sewing some Moji trousers from Seamwork, and I'm using this kind of, I would call it turquoise jersey, and I am using my cover stitch machine to do some decorative stitching around the pocket. And I thought I'd just show you my cover stitch machine because I frankly am a bit terrified of it, but I refuse to be scared anymore. I got it a year and a half ago. I think probably a number of you may have got one for Christmas, and if you did, very lucky you. At the moment I have it set up for a narrow cover stitch, so it can take, this model can take 3 needles. I only have 2 in, and so I have 3 spools in. And because I want to do all the same colours, what I did was I took the regular spool, and can you see under there I filled up a bobbin, and then further along there's the other bobbin. So I'm not going to be doing a lot of the sewing, so I'll get away, I hope, with just having bobbins worth, because I didn't want to go ahead and spend sort of £8 on thread just for the cover stitch. So I will see if I can set up and show you a tiny bit of that filming too. Here are the trousers. They're actually made for wovens, and the first pair I made in a woven fabric, but I wanted to make them in stretch, so that's what I'm doing this time. And you can see here that they have a pocket, and you can see here, and it's actually stitched on the outside of the pant, of the outside of the front leg. So it's around, zoom in even further, you'll get a strange shadow, but it's around the edge there, sorry about the blurry. It's around the edge that I want to do the cover stitch, just mainly because I think it'll look okay, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't do it, but also because I want to have a go at using the cover stitch machine, because it's sat there for ages, it cost a fortune, and I should use it. Just before we start, I should make it clear that basically what I know about sewing on a cover stitch you could write on the back of a postage stamp. I'm really totally learning this as we go. I've watched a couple of Craftsy courses, which they were okay as far as they went, and I think the main thing I actually learned from them was that there isn't all that much magical about using the machine, you just have to practice. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to show you the basic stitch, and then I'm going to show you my attempt, which may go well, may go terribly, of trying to follow a curved line around that pocket like I just filmed for you. As I said, I've got it set up for a narrow cover stitch which requires 3 threads. There is a lower looper under here, just the one, and they are a lot easier to thread than an overlocker. I want to use this side of the stitch, which is actually the underside of the stitch, as the side that shows on my trousers, which means that the double stitch, which you will probably be able to, I don't think you can see at all, No, not even if I bring it close to the camera, maybe a tiny bit there. It's basically a twin needle straight stitch is what it looks like on this side. So maybe if I do it this way round, you will see. So let me stitch it this way round. So you put the foot down just as normal, and then you start. It is like a sewing machine rather than an overlocker in terms of you start with the fabric underneath. You start sewing, and then you stop, and then you lift the foot, and then where it differs to both a sewing machine and an overlocker, so unlike an overlocker you don't sew off the end of the fabric, it's like a sewing machine, you stay on the fabric. You lift the foot to release the tension, you pull the threads forwards a little bit so you have some excess, and then you pull the project backwards. Sometimes it gets a bit caught and you have to wiggle the wheel, the hand cranking wheel, and then you've got way more than 3 threads there, haven't you, because some of them are caught underneath. So you cut it off, and then you will find that you've got an excess that I just pulled out. So there's the 3 threads back again. So there's the twin needle effect, and then on the other side this is going to be very badly visible. On the other side you've got the cover stitch part of it, which if you could see it, it looks like that. Okay, now to start and end a cover stitch, you don't have to secure the threads at the start of a stitch, but you do have to secure the threads at the end of a stitch, because if you don't, this is a benefit and a cost, and a downside of a cover stitch, is that it can, if you get the right position, it can unravel by just pulling one thread. Of course it's not doing it now because I'm trying to show you on camera, but you actually have to tie a knot in those threads if this is your real work, and then use a needle to thread that through. Okay, so I'm going to pause now and I'm going to position my trousers under there, and then we'll film how that goes. What I have already done is done a regular long straight stitch on my regular sewing machine to hold the pocket exactly where it needs to be, because, oh, that's the wrong way up, for 2 reasons. Firstly, another thing I learned from the Craftsy course is that the one thing that cover stitches are tricky to do is hold all your bits and pieces still. So if you can do something like using the iron-on tape or the temporary fixing tape, Wonderweb is it called, to hold things still while you work, that is recommended. And here I've used a basting stitch because I know that it's going to be hidden in what I do. I am positioning my basting stitch hopefully in the middle of those 2 needles, and I'm planning to do that so that this line, which I think you can see a little bit, that's going to be in the middle of the 2 needles throughout. So lift that up, move it back just a little bit, stop that curling. Okay, let's go, let's see how this goes. Leave the needles down. I'm just going to lift that to relax the fabric a bit. Lift up just a little bit. Corners are a little bit trickier on this kind of thing because you've got the twin needle, so you can't pivot around a single needle, but I also don't really want to move the fabric whilst there's no needle in it, because I'm afraid that I will end up skipping and shifting the line. I won't have a continuous line of stitching. So I'm not going to go off the end. I'm going to lift my needles. I'm going to lift my foot to release the tension discs of the machine. I'm going to put something behind there. It can be anything, but I've got my scissors here. Pull a bit of excess out. Okay, now it feels like it's catching. So I'm going to move, there we go. I move the hand wheel and then it pulls out. I'm going to cut it with quite a lot of excess, and I'm going to turn it over and pray that it looks okay. Look at that! Oh, I'm quite pleased with that. There we go. So that was the look I'm going for. We've got a bit of skipping down there. That was probably where I lifted the needle, wasn't it? Okay, that's not too bad. These are only around the house trousers and it's all a learning experience. So that I'm pretty happy with that. Let me just show you what you do now. So you pull things through to the chain side, which happens to be the front side of my work, and then you tie a knot. I have seen this done where you don't tie a knot, but tying a knot just makes me feel a little bit happier about it. So I'm literally just tying a knot with all 3 threads. Have I got all 3 there? Yep, tying a knot. Oh look, this made an awful knot. Never mind, it will do. And then you thread that onto a needle. Find a needle in here. Something with a fairly big eye. Okay, I've got that threaded. I used a really big needle because all you need to do is actually thread it through there. Now that's what you would do if this was the wrong side of your fabric. I just thought, oh, this isn't going to work. Oh no, look, it is going to work. I'm going to go through to the wrong side and I'm just going to, actually I'm going to leave those loose and then catch it in the seam. That will do. Okay. So there you go, that is my cover stitch attempt. It's not the first time I've used the machine, but it's the first time for quite a while. I'll show you the finished trousers when they're done. Here I'm showing you the pocket on the trousers, and there's the line of cover stitching, which doesn't show up great on camera, but that's where it is. So what I did was for the pocket, that's the same fabric reversed, and then again, as you've seen for the cuff, that is the same fabric reversed, and again, waistband, that is the same fabric reversed. There you go, that is my little go with the cover stitch the other day. I've had another go, which is still a work in progress because it went horribly wrong. I'm going to film another video and show you that, so you can learn from my mistakes. How selfless of me. But thank you for being there. Please like, subscribe, all of that stuff, and I'll be back really soon. Bye.